Entertain a motion to open that to the public. Motion. Second. Second. All right. We're open. Come on up.
Can I ask from here? Can I ask from here? If I'm actually asking you the question. I have two questions. One, have you ever done a case rate study on the sewer before? When? When? For this, no, for this particular town. No, for this particular town.
Oh, this town?
Yes.
We've never done this formal rate study. We've done a forecast or a look at some forecasted revenue surplus numbers at one time.
Okay.
But we've never gone through this type of analysis.
Okay.
I haven't.
My second question is, the tiered rate structure that you have for the commercials, is there any particular reason why you're tiering it other than to save them from the massive increase all at once, even though they've...
You mean if you're asking about the phasing?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was something, again, I mean, we're taking a direction from the governing body. But when we first presented the report, we looked at that report and everybody realized and was cognizant of the fact that we're not trying to try to have an undue severe increase on a particular component. And some of the ideas that were floated around, and the mayor and the committee said, listen, why don't we try looking at possibly some kind of phase and soften that blow? And that was really the reason that came about.
You're giving the commercial units the fairness of taking away from the fund balance to help ease the blow for something that was incorrect for 16 years.
Well, listen, I'm not going to speak to that. The only thing I can tell you is that really, you know, I mean,
I'll
go ahead, yeah.
We decided rather than be looking back, trying to fit 16 years worth of pop, whatever you want to call it, we decided to draw a line in the sand today and look forward and try to make it equitable, try to make it fair, not only to the residential but to the commercial. We looked at the phase in because we felt that it was a large increase, and to eat the apple all in one bite wasn't fair to the commercial. So we decided to phase in. The other thing we looked at is that through our analysis, we noticed that we had a substantial fund balance, certainly outside of normal percentages. So we decided to look at that as well and try to attack the fund balance and try to make it equitable. We were trying to make it fair to everyone. And we didn't want to go back and say, well, 10 years ago they did this, and 11 years ago they did that, because what's done is done, and we couldn't fix it anyway. So we felt that rather than looking backwards, we were going to look forward. And that's the reason why we did that. And that's really all it came down to. We want to look at from today on, rather than going back and say, how do we fix building inequality, whatever things had happened, because none of us were part of that. None of us knew the details of why it happened. Why address it? It's done. Let's look from today and move forward.
I agree on moving forward from today, but the fund balance by its addition, residential is the one that created most of that fund balance. We are essentially still favoring for the next 3 years the commercial units, and while I don't want to
actually no, I disagree with your statement that we're favoring the commercial, because we're actually bringing the commercial more in line with their usage, and we're just deciding to phase it in because it was such a drastic change. We are not penalizing the residents at all. Matter of fact, they're getting a 7% decrease, so they're not being penalized.
You're using the money that was saved by the enacting the billing for the past 16 years.
Again, I can't fix that.
And I'm not saying that you should, but at the same time, you're tiering this to work up to something that should have been in place and correct 15 years ago. You're still softening the blow for the next 3 years, and that's not.
Always looking back is not going to solve anything. So we decided to try to be as equitable, as fair as possible for all users of the sewer utility. We didn't want to just say, oh, let's have a tremendous reduction in residential and put the total burden on the commercial. But in a sense, that we didn't think was fair. So we tried to become equitable and fair, and we think this is the best way.
Fair would be set in the billing where it should be.
Fair is fair. You can call fair one thing, I call fair something else. I could say it's fair when it's 62 degrees outside. You could say it's fair when it's 70 degrees outside. This is what the committee decided. This is what we believe is right.
This is what the rest of the council agreed to. I just want to make sure that that's clear.
This is this is the report that the committee made to the total council. When we vote on the resolution, each council member, if they have concerns, can certainly bring those up and say what they want and vote accordingly. And that's where we are.
I'm not as well known, so you may want me here. Terry Walker's Track and Trail. So if I understand right, you're you're looking to decrease the residential and make no restitution to 16 years of incorrect billing, and because you want to move forward. Now, if I owned a business and I overbilled, I would think that I have to make some sort of restitution for incorrect billing.
I don't think you said there was incorrect billing. You just didn't think there was an equitable distribution of the cost.
If I could just jump in, I think, what happened is this was a point in time that we actually looked at the data. We didn't look at the data the year before, 5, 6, 7, 10, 16 years ago. That evolved, and those percentages would evolve each year. We know that when we looked at the data based upon what historical information, that there was a disparity. That we had the residential component paying a percentage more than what they actually utilize. So it's a fluid usage calculation. But we know as at this point in time, the goal was to align the two, and that's what the governing body
And to be honest, I don't think they would have even been a look back if the two women that were coming to the meeting didn't come up and make a point, because everybody was fine with rubber stamping it and collecting the money. They really didn't care about the residents, and your solution still doesn't care about the residents.
Lynn Ritchie, 110 Staten Trail. What I don't understand is we're giving commercial 3 years to catch up. Why are we as residents not stepping down in that 3 years and getting decreases continuing? So as commercials ramping up carry their full load, we've carried the load for 16 years. Why are we not going from 300 to 290 to 280 as this commercial goes up? Why do we have to stay at $300 forever until you change it again or something happens again? That's what doesn't make sense to me. I'm a resident. I've been carrying this for 15 years, as long as 3,000 other residents in this town. I think we deserve a little bit more than a 7% break once, because my taxes eventually will go up, school bills will go up, things are going to go up, but businesses get 3 years to catch up. We get one. Here you go. Thank you very much. You were saying? Thank
I
you.
may actually just jump in and add commenting regarding the report, because one thing, and there's a couple of things I think that we stated it, but maybe not quite as clearly as we could have. One is when we did the look back, I hear a lot of this talk about 16 years. We looked back 2 years, okay? So everything we're presenting in the report is based on a 2-year look back, not 16. I can make no statement to what happened 16 years ago. That's the first thing. The second thing is, when I go back to this slide right here, I want to be clear on this, okay? When you're looking at these percentages of billing and for commercial versus residential, this is over the next 3-year period. So you're looking at it and saying the commercial are getting a break over the, to catch up. They will be actually paying 6.1% over the 3-year period versus 5.7. They're actually more than catching up. And that's total over the 3-year period. So even though we're phasing it in over 3 years, over that 3-year period, they are paying their fair share over that 3-year period.
For the first time.
Correct. Like I said, the charge was to look forward.
We don't know if it's the first time.
Well, in the 2 years
Right.
that you did the study.
Yeah, but so we know though that the numbers now are representative of what they should be. And I think that to speak to the larger concern, is that, you know, we know where the surplus or we're projecting it, but now this is the initial stages of a new rate. So the idea is to let this thing mature, let it go through its 2-3-year cycle, and then we'll look at the actual result. The governing body then will have the opportunity to go back and take a look at it. And they may come back and have another study and say, well, you know what? We're actually not reducing the surplus quick enough, and now we want to reduce the rate again, and maybe a whole system-wide reduction. Right now, the whole purpose of this was to get everything back in line. So this way, everything's mirroring each other. Both sides are paying their equitable share, if you will. And then you have the opportunity down the road again to compare the projected to the actual results, and the opportunity for them to come back again with additional modifications.
Ben Johnson, 600 Hopatcong. In here, in the report, I don't know if you had it up there. There were two things that I was just confused.
Are you on a PowerPoint?
No, I'm on the thing that's online, the report that's online. So it says here, each separately metered commercial account or unmetered commercial account, commercial building structure, serviced by wells, regardless of the number of commercial businesses, will be assessed as a minimum charge of 1 EDU. But then, I lost my spot.
Time's up.
It says, yes, that's where it is. Each separately metered commercial account or unmetered commercial building structure serviced by wells will be assessed a minimum charge of 1 EDU. And underneath that, it says each separately metered mixed-use commercial account will be assessed a minimum charge of 1 EDU for all commercial businesses, regardless of the number of commercial businesses, plus 1 EDU for each residential apartment. So my understanding is that most, if not all, of the commercial properties in town are individually metered for water. So like, I always use 22 Lakeside because I think it's a good, and a 2-bedroom apartment upstairs. If you go on our WIP and you look up the tax information, they each have their own meter, their usage. You can see each one of their usage over the time. So the woman who lives on the top, she would be billed for 1 EDU, which would be $300 to $200. It would be $300 a quarter, right? Okay. My question is kind of, I'm confused. Is it 1 EDU per? If they're all individually metered, then what's?
I think that, and Julie can jump in too, but I think that the big distinction is it used to be 1 EDU per building.
And now it's
And
going to
so
be
that-
1
now it's
EDU per.
Per meter.
So it's 1 EDU per meter, and then.
That's the big
Oh.
distinction. That's the big
Okay, all right, because that was going to be my
Okay.
next question. Because I was going to, why aren't we doing that? Because then that's full more. You know,
Yeah.
you're getting more money into.
Right.
Okay.
And that was
okay.
one of the, you know, this thing evolved over many meetings.
Yeah, so
Right,
Especially
right.
with John being involved.
I got it.
Kind of how it all came about.
Okay, so, okay, thank you. And then, as our bonds and loans drop off, we have 2 or 3 dropping off, 2021 and 2022. But our MSA loan is also dropping off. 22, right? Is that? We have 4 plus MSA, right? So it's
They
22.
don't have MSA debt. They have debt. We pay it. It's not our debt. We have 4 loans.
Part of our fee,
It's part of our fee.
part of our fee, but we will see a reduction in that fee in
2020.
2022.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why, with this whole study and looking at the debt going on, I believe in 2022, we should look at this again.
That was going to be my next.
And go, hey,
Honest to God, as our
hopefully we're
bonds
gonna
and
go
loans
for
drop
another-
off, is
Yeah.
there maybe a projected decrease in residential and commercial even more? And then
Oh, I think we were just to keep going. I mean, things are good.
will we have a plan in 2022 to do another study like this, you know, over the next 3 years, the next 4 years?
If I'm around.
That's
yeah.
right. That would go
We have to start somewhere, and this is the place.
It's a start, you know. It's a
So
start.
this is our baseline.
I agree. It's a start. Okay, so, and then when you have new commercial businesses coming, are they also going to be individually metered as they come?
The ordinance will be the ordinance. It should be equal.
You got it. All right, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.